Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you're doing good, my dear friends. Today is 17th December and it's Monday today. I'm sure you all have enjoyed your weekend. Let's have a positive start with the help of this quote by Sai Baba. All action results from thoughts. So it is thoughts that matter. Has been said by Sai Baba, and thoughts are like seeds. You know, if you have positive seeds, you'll get positive fruits. If you have negative seeds, you'll get negative fruits. Simple is that. With this, we have 4 important articles to go through. The first one is widening Gulf. It's about Gulf region. It's about West Asia. It's about Qatar and other Gulf region nations. Then we are going to talk about India and Bangladesh. It is based on this NRC, National Register of Citizens. And then we are going to talk about some important facts and India and Bangladesh's relationship. This one is about film industry. It's about storytelling. It's about certification. And this one is about GDP back series. There are 1 or 2 things that I would like to have a word with you on this thing. This one is about Sri Lanka. Now, this triangle that was formed in recent past. Remember, you have Wickremesinghe on one side, Sirisena, who is president, on one side, and then you have Rajapaksa on the other side. So now Sirisena has appointed Wickremesinghe again as a prime minister. But we know that this marriage is not going to last a bit long. This partnership is not going to last a bit long, so we cannot thoroughly rely on this political situation that we can see in Sri Lanka. But we have talked about this thing many times, so I'm not going to go through this one, but it's not that important. But let's start our discussion with this article, Widening Gulf, most important article of the day, and of course this one as well. Now, dear friends, I have a good news for you guys. Flat 60% off is available on our pen drive and Android courses. Big Christmas sale is on. This is going to last till 25th December. Don't wait for Christmas. Order your pen drive and tablet course today itself. Visit StudyIQ.com. You can check out demo lectures and other things. If you have any question or queries, you can feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now, on your screen, you can see this West Asia region, right? This is the region I'm talking about. And this West Asia, you have 2 important players. You have Saudi Arabia and Iran. They are not friendly with each other. In fact, they are competitors. They have this, Saudi Arabia is predominantly a Sunni country. Iran is a Shia country. It's not the religion, right? That is the main cause, or you can say at the core of this difference, right? It is more than that. If you read between the lines, it's about economic development. It is about competition. Competition in this oil market, because this region is famous for oil and fuel. And the more fuel you can sell to other countries, the more money you will make. The more money you have, right, you can purchase more weapons and you can develop your country, so you'll become stronger. So there has always been a cutthroat competition between Saudi Arabia and Iran. I'm sure regular students, you are aware about this thing, because this is not the first time that we are discussing this region here. So today we are going to focus predominantly on this region called Qatar. And in recent past, I asked you a question about Bahrain, so I'm sure that you are not that much, I would say, you to be familiar with this region. It's not that you are not aware about where Qatar is. Qatar is here. It is part of this region. This is Qatar here. And you can see Persian Gulf, Arabian Gulf, very important place, right? Very important location, because most of your oil production takes place here. And then you have here Strait of Hormuz, a very important strait. Let me write it down for you. Strait of... Oh, here we go. Let me try one more time. And there you go. That's your Strait of Hormuz. This one, a very important strait. If you block this one, then you will block a major chunk of global oil supply, and this can create a very negative impact. And you know very well, right, that the negative impact, or negative or positive impact of this oil production, if supply goes up and if price falls down, then that's good news for India. And if we find troubles in this region, right, then this will kick oil prices up, and this can create problems for our country, political problem, social problems, economical problem. So it's a big thing, because 80% of our energy is imported, fuel is imported, isn't it? Now, the thing is, on 9th December 2018, Gulf Cooperation Council had their meeting or a summit in Riyadh. Now, this GCC, that is Gulf Cooperation Council, you have 6 members that you can see on your screen. Alphabetically speaking, you have Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. Now, I don't have to say, but you can understand that Saudi Arabia is a very important, a very strong player here. So naturally, when it comes to GCC, the most important leader is going to be Saudi Arabia here. You can see this region right in purple. Here you have the 6 countries that are part of this GCC. So this meeting took place in Saudi Arabia, and Qatar's Emir or king was not there. He remained absent, not took part in this GCC, and one of the main reasons is that since June 2017 there has been a blockade that has been applied by 3 members of GCC, and then you have one more member called Egypt. So here you have on your screen this infographic. You have Saudi Arabia, then you have this country called Egypt here, right? Then you have Bahrain, a tiny country just next to Qatar, and then you have this country called UAE. So these 4 countries are not in speaking terms with Qatar. They have recalled their ambassadors from Qatar, and they have sent this ambassador. Saudi Arabia has sent this Qatari ambassador back to Qatar, and same thing goes with Egypt, UAE, and Bahrain as well. So ties are not good, or are at its worst as far as this region is concerned when we talk about Qatar and GCC. So these are the things that are going on here. And one of the main reason, what is the reason behind this? Of course, we know the reason why this Qatari Emir was not present in this GCC summit that took place in Riyadh. But why this blockade has been applied on Qatar? Because Saudi Arabia has accused Qatar of funding terrorism. Now the thing is, Saudi Arabia is not happy with Qatar's relationship with Iran. That's the main thing here. And you can see here, then you have 4 countries are here already when it comes to GCC. So you have this Bahrain, you have Oman, not Oman, but UAE. You have Bahrain, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. These are the 3 countries that we find here. And then you have Qatar on one side. So we are talking about 4 countries. So what about the rest 2? This Kuwait and Oman. Kuwait and Oman, like Kuwait, has remained independent, and Oman, its foreign policy. Oman is a country here. Let me show where exactly Oman is. So here you can see this is Oman here. Its capital is Muscat. It is quite famous in India, particularly in Gujarat and Maharashtra, or in Mumbai. You find so many people from our country, from western coast. They are working in this country called Oman, and Muscat is its capital. So here we go. So these 2 countries, Oman has remained independent as far as its foreign policy is concerned, and Kuwait is also here. So Kuwait has also behaved, or it has asked these countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar to have a chat and to negotiate rather than not having a word with each other. Now Qatar has said that if you want us to take part in this sort of summits and other things, then you have to first remove this blockade. How can you apply blockade on us? And remember that Qatar is a tiny country, but Qatar is not a weak country. Qatar is the largest exporter of liquefied natural gas in the world, and Qatar is you can say a very rich country, right? If you see per capita income, then it is right there on top of the list. So it's not a country that is weak, and Qatar has good relationship with some superpowers as well. Now, personal invitation was sent to Amir by the King Salman, and also this crown prince, crown prince MBS, that is Mohammed bin Salman. He also added a few remarks, some positive remarks. But then as well, this thing was rejected by Qatar's Emir. Now, Qatar is going to quit OPEC as well. And this is going to be a big shock for this OPEC group. OPEC stands for this oil-producing country group, right? So here you have a few countries on your screen, right? 2 countries are from South America. Then you have one country from, not just one country, you have Angola, you have Nigeria, then we have one more African country. Yes, here we go, Algeria and Libya as well. And then you have Gulf countries, right? All these countries are Arabic countries, and not Iran, but other countries are basically part of this West Asia. So This is going to be the first time. For the first time, we can see an Arabic country is talking about, stepping out of this OPEC. So that's going to have its impact on OPEC, right? And Saudi Arabia is upset with Oman and Kuwait that they did not join this embargo of making sure that Qatar remains in a tight corner. But Oman and Kuwait, as I told you, like Oman has remained independent. Oman continues to be independent, and Kuwait was trying to mediate, but this was not taken very well by Saudi Arabia, because this MBS, that is Mohammed bin Salman, who is this de facto ruler or this crown prince, visited Kuwait. He was supposed to be there for 2 days, but he was back to Saudi Arabia in a few hours. So this again indicates that relationship, because of this mediation role that Kuwait was trying to play, it has upset this powerful country called Saudi Arabia. Now, blockade made Qatar a bit more independent. If you observe its foreign policy, it is planning to, or Turkey is going to set up its military camp here in Qatar. It has stepped up its assistance for Hamas in Gaza. It has resisted calls to cut ties with Iran. There was a time when this Gulf countries, they used to have this vision that they will have a good communication channel with each other, and they are going to have a common currency. They would have good connectivity and other things. But now it looks like, in near future, we cannot see this thing. So far, it has not, and in future as well, it looks like, basically, bottom line is the state of affairs in the GCC is not looking good. I hope things are clear to you. Now let's move on to next item. It is about the spectre of deportation. Let's talk about some background information. National Register of Citizens. It's going on for a bit of long time now. The deadline is 31st December. It was 15th December, but Supreme Court has extended last date filing claims and objections for this NCR till 31st December. Now, NCR can have its implications for India's relationship with its neighbors, particularly Bangladesh. Now, there are so many people out there in our country. They are saying that we should send back Bangladeshis back to Bangladesh because they are living here, they are illegal, they are taking our jobs and things like that. So that's not always right. We have to understand this thing, and I believe that very few of us are aware about this thing, that legal as well as illegal Indian immigrants are living in Bangladesh as well. There are 5 lakh plus Indians living in Bangladesh, and not all of them are legal. So if we are talking about sending our but if we are talking about sending this Bangladeshi people who are living in our country, if we are going to send them back, so it's not going to that we are not going to get a sort of reciprocal, you can say, gesture. We are going to face the same thing. We are going to find so many our people, right, Indian people, they are going to be sent back to our country. Now, but to be honest, right, I was not aware about this fact till to date. That Bangladesh was reported to be among the highest source of remittance to India, behind UAE, US, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UK. Among the highest source of remittance, behind the this Emirates of the UAE and other countries. So if this many, if we are getting this big chunk of remittance from Bangladesh, then that's a very interesting fact, and this indicates that the people from our country who are living in Bangladesh, they are doing very well over there. And the big difference is that those people who are, most of them, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them who are here from Bangladesh, they are mostly in informal sector, but our people working over there, they are doing very well, right? They are working in formal sector, they are at good position. So if we are going to send them back, right, without any mercy, then we are going to face the same thing, and this will destroy our relationship with a very important country called Bangladesh, because Bangladesh is already going through a bit of pain, because it is hosting more than 10 lakh Rohingyas are living there. So remember last year what happened here, that this is Myanmar, of course, and people, from Myanmar, they headed towards, this is Rakhine State. So from Rakhine State, they crossed this Naf River, and they are living in this Cox's Bazar. It is holding more than 10 lakh refugees, and situation is a bit bad. And already Bangladesh is one of the most densely populated country in the world, and it is a tiny country. It has limited resources. So 10 lakh addition of 10 lakh people is going to, it is in fact adding huge amount of pressure on Bangladesh. And now we are talking about, I'm not saying that all 40 lakh people will be sent back. In fact, Prime Minister Modi has said that he's not going to, those people who are not part of this NRC, or those people excluded from NRC, will not be deported. That this assurance has been provided by Prime Minister to Bangladesh, and it is very important that we provide them positive assurances, as well as we need to take positive action as well, because Sheikh Hasina, she is Prime Minister of Bangladesh, and general election is going to take place in Bangladesh by the end of this month, that is December 2018. And Sheikh Hasina has always been friendly with our country. Her father was friendly with India. So, and the opposition party, are not friendly with India. In fact, they are anti-India. So if they come to power, that's going to be a big problem. And this issue of migration and immigration, that's again a big deal for people in Bangladesh. So if we are going to misbehave with them, or if we are sending negative signals, then that can impact political position of Sheikh Hasina. And if she loses this election, then that's going to be a bit of trouble for our country. Because if we go back and if we review our neighborhood first policy, then we can see that things are not that good. I'm not saying that all things are bad, but it's not that we have achieved 90% plus positive result. It's a 50-50 if you ask me. Like, say for example, Nepal. Now, Nepal is a country with which we have this roti-beti relationship. We have matrimonial, as well as we have this food and other item sharing relationship with Nepal. But look at the state at present, right? The situation is when we applied this blockade back in 2015, China took this thing as an opportunity, and China has opened 4 important ports for Nepal. So Nepal is, this monopoly of India as far as this trading routes were concerned. Now that's a thing of the past. So Nepal has now 2 options, and it is at present looks like tilted towards China. Look at Bhutan, right? Bhutan is of course a very friendly country. We have outstanding as well as you can say not so common relationship with Bhutan. We have a very friendly relationship with Bhutan, but that does not mean that we don't have any problem. And there are political parties, they are also raising up their voice against India, because there are hydropower projects that are executed by India, or these projects are totally supported by India on loans and other things, and delay in execution of this project or completion of this project is adding or making these projects a bit more expensive. And this is something that is not taken very well by Bhutan, and no country will take it. It will of course send a negative signal. Now Bhutan has stepped out of this BBIN, that stands for Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal, this motor vehicle agreement. So here again you have one more indication that that Bhutan is behaving a bit independently, and we don't want to see Bhutan tilting towards China. But one more thing that I would like to add here, as far as my information is concerned, Bhutan, even today, they don't have official relationship with China. So they don't have embassies in each other's countries. So a formal relationship is not there. So less chances, but still we don't want to upset a very friendly country here. Look at the situation of Sri Lanka and Maldives, right? Things have improved as far as Maldives is concerned because of new government, and we have the president of Maldives here in our country. We have this thing as a news item of the day. And Sri Lanka, the political crisis that are going on. But if in future, if we find, let's say, Sirisena and Rajapaksa coming into power, then this means both these leaders, you can term them as not that friendly with India, and they are pro-China. So Bangladesh has so far been the most trusted ally of our country. Most trusted ally. Look at the statement of BSF chief. He has said that with this help of BGB, that is Border Guard Bangladesh, we have eliminated and we have sorted out this insurgents hideouts in Bangladesh, and without their help it would look impossible, or it would have been impossible. So Bangladesh has supported us many a times. Bangladesh, our trade with Bangladesh is $9 billion, which is not a small amount. In recent past, Bangladesh has opened its Chittagong and Mongla ports for our northeast states connectivity. So this NCR issue, right, we have to be very sensitive here. We cannot allow NCR to spoil the relationship that we share with this country, with this friendly country, most trusted partner of our nation. Now the numbers game, this one is about Central Statistics Office, or SCO, has released official revisions of GDP estimates for the year 2004 and 5 to 2013-14. And this new released revision data indicates that Manmohan Singh government has not done that well. Earlier data said that Manmohan Singh government was doing very well, and this revision makes Narendra Modi government's performance a bit better, or it appears a bit better compared to Manmohan Singh's government. So there are, of course, it is going to create controversy, isn't it? If your old data is saying things are good, and now you have another government, and now your data is saying that things were bad in past, so that's it sounds a bit illogical. It's difficult to digest this sort of data. Now in 2015, when CSO had first computed this set of estimates, the growth rates for the years in Dr. Singh's tenure was higher, and this was rejected by Niti Aayog, and Niti Aayog asked for this revision. Now we use this thing called base year. Remember, we have talked about this thing. So when you calculate your GDP or GVA, that is gross value added, they are estimated every year at the prices of a selected year, that is called the base year. So earlier on, the base year was 2004-2005. At present, remember, the base year is 2011-12. You can expect this type of question in your prelims examination, so you should be aware about this thing, that at present the base year is 2011-2012. Now I am going to take you through a small hypothetical example, and I believe with the help of this example you will understand what went wrong with this revision. So let's imagine that you are a business person, your organization, you have a firm, and this firm is producing toys. So let's imagine that you have one office in city area, and then you have a factory in outskirts of your urban area. And here, I can come, and this is your toy factory, of course. This is your toy factory, this is your office. So I can come and visit your office, and I can place an order. Of course, you are going to produce things here in this factory, right? So your factory as this building, people working over there, electricity, your machines, everything, right? Your costs, your expenses, variables as well as fixed and other things, and then your income. And I can come and visit your office, and I can place order. I can directly approach your factory, and I can purchase some items from here. So both these facilities are available. Let's imagine, I'm giving you a very hypothetical example here. And so this is your business called A, then you have a business called B. Doing the same thing, toys, office and factory setup. Now, if we are, taking out value of if you want to see like which business is doing well, then we'll calculate everything, isn't it? Expenses of your office and income of your office, income of your factory if you're selling items directly from there, and income or expenses as well as income of your factories and things like that. Then you'll have a grand total, and then you will, go through both this data that we have from both these sites, and then you'll come to know about your factory, whether it is in profit or it is in loss. What if you are just taking, say for example, here same thing, right? If you are comparing, but here you are just taking data from one thing, you are not calculating expenses and income of other items. So you cannot compare, because the methods that you have used in both the cases, right, these methods are different methods, isn't it? So something similar took place here, and that's a bit of problem. One of India's most well-regarded statisticians, TCA Anant, was not willing to replace the MCA database with ASI database in backcasting exercise when he was chief statistician of India. MCA stands for Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and this ASI stands for Annual Survey of Industries. So TCA Anant was not willing to replace this MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs database, with Annual Survey of Industries database in backcasting exercise when he was chief statistician of India. And the new CSO comes in and he goes ahead with this thing, and then we have this new data, and that's the problem that we are finding. So I'm sure you know the core of this issue now, right? All you have to do is just keep this thing in mind, that this was the main issue, or this is the main issue, this difference in MOCA and ASI. One is ready to replace and one is not ready to replace, and because of this thing we find this big difference. Now a different rating. This one is about Bollywood or Indian film industry. Now this article is suggesting that if it means it is providing this data that 4,000 films were analyzed by IBM India, and out of this 4,000 films we can find only 30 movies, right, between this 1970s and 1970 and 2017. We find only 30 films out of this 4,000 films in which we find this stereotypes were broken, or this women were, or female actresses were projected positively, or they had a sort of positive, or there was no sexual stereotype, means females are weaker and males are stronger. This type of stereotype was not there in this 30 films out of 4,000 films. So what this article is suggesting, that we need to have a rating, right? We can have a sort of you can say rating or a warning if a film is sexist in the sense if it is not projecting women in positive or I would say in not equal way, then there should be some sort of rating so that people can decide whether they want to watch that movie or not. And the reason is that films are about storytelling, and stories, they have great impact on society. So that's what the suggestion is. But I would argue here, politely of course, and that's what I understand, that films, of course, they are imaginary, they are work of fiction, but they get, these directors and story writers, they get inspiration from real world. So first of all, we need to sensitize our society, because the films at the end of the day, and the people who are making films, they are part of society as well. They are not from Venus, right? They are not from any other planet. They are from here, from us. So until and unless we don't change the way upbringing of boy and girl is done, right? We need to add more bravery. We need to add a bit more, I would say, we need to make sure that girls, they do realize their potential. We cannot cage them. And when it comes to boys, we have to make them a bit more sensitive when it comes to their upbringing, right? We cannot feed this wrong thing in their head that they are strong and girls are weak. So until and unless we don't do this thing, right, then we are not going to see a change in society, and then this will be reflected on our screens as well. Now let me take you through some latest news items. Bhupesh Baghel is going to head the government in Chhattisgarh. Siri Sena reinstates Ranil Wickramasinghe as Prime Minister. Navy to helm Center on Maritime Security. Make sure you go through this news item, because it is about white shipping, it is about merchant shipping, and India is going to play a very important role as far as this Information Fusion Center is concerned. The head office is going to be in Gurugram, and this will help Indian Ocean region countries to share data with each other. We can locate and we can trace ships, and then we can provide security. So that's going to be good for business and overall growth of this Indian Ocean region. India is closest friend of Maldives, has been said by visiting president. Government notifies rules for in-flight calls. Climate talks delivers rule books. So that's a good news. We were talking about this thing a couple of days ago. So now we have a rule book, so that's a first positive step. MSMEs traders witness loss of 35 lakh jobs, has been said by this AIMO survey. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this thing, but Netherlands is Number one, it comes to artificial island creation, because they have this big ships, right? This technology engineering capability, and they have created this artificial island. And what we are seeing now is that wildlife is coming back to this island, artificial island. So that's a good news. Bad news regarding wildlife: Indian bustard is on its last legs, because only 150 individuals are left in 5 states. It is Schedule 1. It falls under this Schedule 1 of India's Wildlife Protection Act. And here you find the tourist economy. Tourism can create jobs. Formal jobs can be, this tourism sector has this capacity to create formal jobs. So here you have one infographic. These are your vocabs. Question of the day is about French Guiana. Do tell me some important things about French Guiana, and of course make sure that you add a bit of political things as well. I am impressed, to be honest, I have got just 3 or 4 answers from you guys, but then as well these answers are good. So keep it up, right? Thank you very much for taking active part in this quiz session. And if you want to check out answers, other guys, those who are relying on me to provide you these answers of map based quiz, I will recommend you guys to go through the comment section and find the answer and then locate. And you can also visit Hindi version, and you can find some more comments. And all those students who have posted comments, I will recommend you guys to check out Hindi version comments as well on this country, on Chile. And today's country is French Guiana. So one by one we are going to cover this whole region, and this is your answer. This is your new question. You can download the PDF and go through the question, right? And that's everything in today's discussion. Please make sure that you share this lecture. The way I share things with you guys, I expect you guys to actively share these items with other students. That helps me as well as that helps you guys and all those other students particularly. Right, so that's everything. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.